In with another video. Continuing on the series that I've been doing on my favorite food items. We talked about protein snacks, we talked about fats, we talked about carbohydrates, and I'm going to talk about another one this week that doesn't get a lot of attention, but I think if you want to enjoy the food that you are making with these proteins, fats, and carbs, it's quite important because it adds a lot of flavor and goodness to the foods that we eat. Lots of times, the way that food companies or restaurants and stuff like that, they make food super hyper palatable and make something easy to overeat is by adding a ton of sugar and fat basically to the meal. And they usually do that with some kind of sauce or marinade or something like that. You cover some plain boiled chicken breast in sweet and spicy sauce from Asian themed sauce from something, and that plain Jane boiled chicken breast turns into something that's hyper palatable, right? You could probably only eat or want to eat a very small portion of a boiled chicken breast, but if you cover that thing in some sweet and spicy sauce, you might be eating 3 or 4 chicken breasts at a time. But you're also getting a huge amount of added calories in the process. So it makes it hyper palatable. You're able to eat a lot of it, and it also quickly becomes calorically dense. The seasoning, the spices, the sauces that you put on your food can really change the enjoyment and the hyperpalatability of a food. What we really want to do when we're cooking our food is use the seasonings and sauces to enhance the experience, maybe bring out some of the flavor of the food that we're eating, but not make it so that once you have one bite of it, that it's going to be super hyper palatable and you're going to eat a whole bunch of it. And the other thing is, we don't want our seasonings and spices to come with a whole bunch of added calories in return too, because if we're going to liberally use some of these things, then we don't want to be turn what would be a 150 calorie chicken breast into a 600 calorie chicken breast, for example. Those are two things to keep in mind. With those two kind of guidelines in place, I wanted to share some of the things the sauces, the condiments, the spices that I use literally on a daily basis to add seasoning flavor to the foods that I make. And I don't there's not a lot of different ones here. I only have a couple of them that are my favorites, but ultimately I use them every day and they do add to the enjoyment of the food that I'm eating. And so the first one I'm going to start out with here is one that probably is somewhat controversial because of mainstream health advice tells us to limit this particular item, but it's only particularly bad for us if we consume it in large quantities, which is easy to do in processed foods, not so easy to do in whole foods. We don't need to worry about it for the most part when we are consuming mostly whole foods, or if you have a certain genetic condition that could make you predisposed to being sensitive to this item. But for the most part, most people don't particularly need to worry about this item if they are eating whole foods. Again, not a doctor, so please consult with your doctor. But that is salt. I put salt on everything. And I don't measure the amount of salt I'm eating. I liberally put it on everything I eat. And in this case, I have Redmond's Real Salt. It's really good salt brand. I believe it comes from salt mines in Utah here in the States. You can find it in pretty much any grocery store, Redmond's Real Salt, look for it. But again, salt really just adds a lot of flavor to foods. I put it on vegetables, I put it on the meat that I eat. I put it on everything. And so find a really good quality salt that you like. There's Redmond's Real Salt or something, or just a regular sea salt or whatever. I've become somewhat of a salt sour lately. I've been like to try different types of salts. So I'm really up on this truffle salt. He talks about truffle oil in the video on fats, but they also have this truffle salt. Yeah, fantastic. I love it. But yeah, any kind of high quality salt is like step number one. Same with pepper. I didn't bring my pepper out, but I just have a regular organic pepper. You can get a pepper mill and grind your own pepper, anything like that. But having a salt and pepper, if you have nothing else, that's what you just need. You just need salt and pepper. So if I'm just going to have boiled broccoli, all I really put on is salt and pepper. That's all I really need. for myself. I think they're key to just the basics. You need that type of stuff. The other kind of seasoning that I really use every day because I kind of like spicy foods is this classic buffalo seasoning by Noble Made. So Noble Made, you'll see I have a couple of their other products here. They're a really good brand. The ingredients are really clean for the most part. They have seasonings and sauces. I think they also have jerky as well. But yeah, this is just like a buffalo sauce. It has a bunch of spices in it, that make it somewhat spicy. It's not terribly spicy. And I put that on vegetables. You can put it on chicken, you can put it on meat, whatever you like to spice up a little bit, have a little bit of heat. I literally use that every day on the vegetables I make for my breakfast. Really good stuff. It just brings out the flavor. And all I'm doing is sauteing vegetables for breakfast. So I just add a little seasoning on that. The other seasoning I use almost every day is some type of cinnamon. So here I have Saigon cinnamon. It is, I don't know, I like it. I put it on, like I think I mentioned in the carb video, I put it on my sweet potatoes and my butternut squash every day. I use it every day, but just adds a little, I don't know, I like that. I like that cinnamon taste. I put it in my oatmeal when I have my oatmeal. I put it on when I do make a treat for myself, when I do make a banana bread French toast, one of my breakfast treats that I'll have occasionally. I'll put it on that. But yeah, the cinnamon is another key one to have around the house. I use that every day too. So on to the sauces and condiments. So where should I start? Let's start with ketchup. I feel ketchup growing up, I was a ketchup fiend. I put ketchup on everything. Not so much anymore, but now still use it occasionally. Kids obviously use it. And I had no idea I was growing up, I was a ketchup fiend. Like I said, I put ketchup on everything. But once I learned what was in like the most popular brand of ketchup out there, I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't be using that nearly as much as I use it. And I pretty much got off the ketchup bandwagon for a long time until Mark Sisson came and saved the day in his Primal Kitchen organic ketchup, which is the first, like one of the first clean ketchups that you could get on the market without having to make your own. That brought ketchup back into my life again, but to a lesser degree. I no longer put ketchup on everything. I'll use it occasionally. Sometimes if I'm making some of my kids' chicken tenders that I make, or if I on a burger or something like that, I'll use it occasionally. It's a staple for most households. And yeah, you can get some nice clean ketchup by going to Primal Kitchen. There's a couple other brands now on the market that also offer ketchups that have no high fructose corn syrup or added sugar and stuff like that. It's literally just, what's in here? Tomatoes, balsamic vinegar, salt, onion powder, garlic powder, spices. So no terrible ingredients in there. It's what ketchup should really be made out of. But there are a couple other brands on the market now that also offer good ketchups. So not just I'm not a shill for Primal Kitchen or anything. That just happens to be the one that we have on, and I've actually found taste the best. To be honest with you, that's the one I like the best. But also, it doesn't need to be some fancy brand to be good as well. I have ketchup's best friend here, mustard. And mustard to make mustard, you can't really go wrong. Like you can't really, although I would think that you can't really add bad ingredients to ketchup, but apparently you can. But for mustard, like just classic French's mustard has vinegar, water, mustard seed, turmeric, paprika, natural flavors, and garlic powder. There's no calories in 1 teaspoon of this. So like you don't have to go to some fancy brand to get a good, have a clean mustard. Mustard's good. Again, burgers, I'll mix mustard in with if I have salmon or tuna in a can, I'll mix it up with a little bit of mustard. Yeah, mustard's a good condiment to have around. And again, you don't have to have some fancy brand mustard to have a good clean mustard, but we just have regular French's mustard. That's what we use around here. Mayo, similar story with mayo as I had with ketchup. Here we have Primal Kitchen mayo again. This is what kicked off Primal Kitchen as a brand, if I'm not mistaken. Their mayonnaise, you couldn't find a good, clean mayonnaise that didn't have seed oils or added sugars and stuff like that in it until Mark Sisson came around and made Primal Kitchen mayo, and that really kicked off their brand. I guess it has avocado oil, eggs, egg yolks, vinegar, sea salt, rosemary extract, really clean. I was a huge fan of Hellmann's mayonnaise. Does it taste just like Hellmann's? No. Is it good enough? Yeah. I was never a huge mayo fan anyways. I would occasionally use it, but I still occasionally use it. But this is one of those condiments you kind of need to be careful of because 1 tablespoon of this is 100 calories. And When you watch some people slather on the mayonnaise on whatever they're eating, 2, 3 tablespoons easily, and that's 300 calories just from the mayonnaise, and it's all fat. Very little, if anything else. It's one of those things that you just need to be careful of when it comes to mayo. And there again, there's a couple other brands on the market now that make mayonnaise that are made out of clean ingredients, so you can look for that as well. But again, it's one of those condiments that you just need to be careful of. Use sparingly, be mindful of it. Just like peanut butter or almond butter, they roughly have the same caloric density, right? 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is roughly 100 calories as well. So you just need to be careful of that. Okay, other things that I like. We mentioned Noble Made, their buffalo seasoning. They also have an awesome buffalo sauce as well. I like this one over some of the other ones because it does not have avocado oil in it. So the calories on this is really good. 1 tablespoon of this is just 10 calories. Whereas if you added avocado oil in the mix here, it might change the texture of the sauce a little bit, make it a little bit more thicker, I think. But it really ups the calories and does the trade-off for me isn't as good. No sugar in this, just clean ingredients, water, peppers, salt, tapioca starch. So just like very good stuff, low calorie. I use this multiple times a week. We love to make buffalo cauliflower, so I just buy a bag of frozen cauliflower, dump a little bit of this on there, salt, pepper, put it in the oven, 30 minutes, done. A super good vegetable side for your meals if you are into that stuff. And I just keep the mild on hand. They have a medium and a spicy as well. I just use the mild mostly because my wife doesn't like too spicy stuff. We have that. Speaking of the spicy theme, good hot sauce is good to have on hand. I'm a connoisseur of hot sauces as well. I love to buy different brands of hot sauce. I've been really into the Siete ones. They've come out with a kind of a line of different hot sauces, which is really cool. They're all really good. Really like these two. Again, this is no calories in this for a teaspoon, so low calories, but adds a lot and this isn't terribly spicy. They call it a hot sauce, but it's not really spicy at all. That's really good. The Siete one, there's a whole, you can find a wide variety of hot sauces, ketchup, where I'm sorry, like mustard, where to make a hot sauce, you don't really need to add a whole bunch of crap ingredients to it. But it's more likely that you'll find with hot sauces that they do add some kind of sugar in there. So just read for added sugars. But it's also very easy to find not like a fancy brand hot sauce that doesn't have any sugar in it. Like Frank's hot sauce, I'm pretty sure just there's no sugar. Like you could buy Frank's hot sauce and have no concern about what the ingredients are in it. They're a little bit easier to find, good quality sauces. But yeah, another hot sauce, having a hot sauce on hand is a good one too. Barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce. This is a new brand that I've been trying. It's called True Made Foods. They have a couple of different flavors. Again, this just has dates, carrots, tomato puree, apple puree, butternut squash, salt, vinegar, yellow mustard, paprika, allspice, natural smoke, onion powder, nutmeg, powder, garlic powder, cayenne, and black pepper. So very clean ingredients. Again, barbecue sauce is ketchup, where like you pick up an average can of barbecue sauce and it's going to have some kind of high fructose corn syrup in it or a bunch of sugar added to it or both or whatever. And so it can be a challenge to find a good, clean barbecue sauce. This is, like I said, a new brand that I've True Made. I haven't heard of them before. I just found it recently in my local supermarket, not fancy supermarket store. Really good. I like it. But there's other companies that make good clean hot sauces. I believe Noble Made makes a good clean hot sauce. Primal Kitchen makes a good clean hot sauce. And there's a bunch of other brands out there. I've tried a number of different barbecue sauce brands that are out there. So more and more options for barbecue sauces. But again, we keep barbecue sauce on hand. Use it like you use any barbecue sauce, or you have pulled pork or chicken or whatever you might be adding barbecue sauce to. You can find a good one there. That's a good one to keep on hand. Pasta sauce. I used to be a big pasta sauce guy. Again, until I found out that most pasta sauces have just a bunch of added sugar in them for some strange reason. But it is possible to find pasta sauces without sugar added into them. This is called Boves or Boves. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it, Boves. Again, it's just a regular pasta sauce, but there's no sugar added to this. Just has tomatoes, olive oil, salt, garlic, oregano, basil. Yep, find a good clean pasta sauce. I shouldn't say there's lots, but you can definitely find it Again, this is just found at my regular old traditional grocery store, not a fancy supermarket or anything like that. And but Primal Kitchen, I know, makes pasta sauces, but again, I love Primal Kitchen. They're revolutionized some of these condiments and stuff like that, but a lot of their options do add avocado oil and or olive oil to the mix, and it ups the caloric intake significantly. And in this case, you're adding, whenever you do that, it's just going to add a bunch of calories. You just gotta be careful of that. That's the primary reason why I don't choose Primal Kitchen's pasta sauces, although I have had them. They taste really good. We just choose that brand because it's a little bit lower calorie and just tastes just as good. Simple trade-off, but that I'm not saying you have to make that decision. It's just something to be mindful of. The last one I have here that I pulled out because again I use this a lot too is I was just talking about Problem Kitchen. There are no soy teriyaki. Super good, really good for Asian types of dishes or marinade for your chicken or something like that. This is actually one of the options where it does not have added some type of added fat to it. So the calories here are very reasonable. One tablespoon is 15 calories. So you can be very liberal with this sauce and not add a whole bunch of calories to your food. So that's why I like this one, and it tastes really good. So yeah, I use this as a marinade all the time, and it works really well. It's very tasty, especially if you marinate some chicken wings in them and then put them in the air fryer. A super good way to have kind of that Asian flavor chicken wings without a whole bunch of added calories or fats or anything like that. So those are the ones I selected to bring out. There are a couple more that I could have brought out, but these are the ones that I use most frequently. I keep in the house. We keep them stocked all the time. And I wanted to share those with you. So I hope you gives you some ideas on how to add a lot of great flavor and spice and tastiness to your food without a lot of calories or going completely overboard and making them hyper palatable, but still making your meals taste really good. And also keeping with that kind of clean ingredient profile as well. If you have any other sauces or marinades or spices that you really love and want to share with me, please do so in the comments below. Happy to hear them. I always want to try out new things. And if you have any questions or comments about the ones that I have here or want to know more, please, again, leave me a comment below or shoot me a direct message, either way. And as always, if you want to keep track with all the content that I put out, please go to my website, rjbhealth.coach, click on the newsletter link at the top, and jump on the newsletter. Enter your email address, email you these videos as well as my blog posts that I put out every week, and for you to benefit from. It's all free, no charge at all. And if you do want one-on-one coaching, as I've said over the past several weeks, I don't have any open spots, but I do have a waitlist going. So if you're interested, please go to my website, rjbhealth.coach. Click on the schedule discovery call button right on the front of the homepage there and fill out the form, and I can get back to you about putting your name on the waitlist and just have a quick discussion about what you're interested in. And we can go from there. And with that, I hope everyone has had a great week and has a great weekend. And I'll talk to you all.